When I was coming up in the financial space, I had such a fear of asking myself, dude, I don't have a finance degree. I'm sitting in a class with Morgan Stanley, Dean Witter, guy sitting to my left in my class of Morgan's at Mark Hopkins Hotel, San Francisco, because 9/11 happened, so we couldn't go to World Trade Center. They sent us to their office in San Francisco. You know what the kid's name was sitting to my left? That was a new advisor with Morgan Stanley, Dean Witter. Ted Williams III. I'm sitting, I'm like, how the F am I going to compete with your market? This guy goes and presents, hi, I'm Ted Williams III with Morgan Stanley, Dean Witter. I'd like to talk to you about your defensive strategy when it comes onto your investment. Do you have 30 to 45 minutes to spend time with me? Of course. Do you have any stories? I'd love to tell you some stories. Hi, I am Patrick Bedavid coming to you from Iran, and I want to tell you how I can give you some offensive strategy on your investment. Who the F are you? Did you say Iran? Yes. Hell no, you're not coming to my house, right? So I'm like, how the hell are you going to compete with these guys? This guy, finance degree, and then I go in and I realize, no. That fooled you. Outwork, out-improve, out-strategize, outlast, and common sense. Very simple. Maybe the political party, if you set aside the left, right, center, and we gave a score to common sense. I saw a clip by this lady. Rob, if you can prepare this clip. She's a political analyst. She goes to buy a bottle of wine, and she's talking to the person. I want you to, this is how I feel sometimes, people that are in this business of politics for so long that they think so highly of themselves that they're pompous, arrogant, and play this clip. Look at the reaction, how she talks. Folks, tell me how likable this personality is. Go ahead, Rob.
Okay, so we're closing in on almost 5 p.m. Eastern time, and
this was election
tracking
day.
Everything that's been going on across the country today. And my most important encounter was when I went out to get my champagne. I was talking to the guy in the store, of course, asking him, did he vote? And he said he did early voting, and he asked me if I early voted. And he asked me, why I was getting the champagne. And I said, because I'm going to be toasting Madam President tonight. And he just looked at me with kind of like a smirk on his face. And I said, she's going to win this, right? And he says, oh, well, it's very, very close. And I said, no, it's not. He says, well, what do you mean? I said, no, it's not. The women of America are making their voices heard. Reproductive rights is what it all comes down to. And the women are voting in numbers relative to men that are unbelievable. She's won this. And I said to him, she's going to take every one of the swing states plus Iowa. And he said, oh, but the numbers are so close. I said, I'm a political analyst.
I'm a political analyst.
Right now, the numbers are there. She's taking this election. And then I said to him, you realize, and he didn't tell me who he voted for, but of course I knew. And I said, you do realize you wasted your vote, right? And I didn't care. And I walked out with my bottle of champagne and happily walked home. Bye-bye.
By the way,
how is she doing now?
Well, I would love to see her go back to that same liquor to buy that champagne.
She's probably been buying a lot of liquor.
By the way, it's not champagne. It's much harder stuff than that.
It's probably absent. But going back to it, see, to me, that lady is so indoctrinated. She probably went to the right school. She probably did everything the right way. She is so, brainwashed into her thinking. Then you got a guy like this, okay, a Joe Rogan, where, some people say, well, listen, like, even you were complimentary of us earlier, like, political analysts, all this stuff. I think Charlie, for sure. I'm just a regular business guy.
No, you're a big deal. You know that.
But in the business space, I have my own opinions and my thoughts on how I'm processing issues. And you see this guy brings Trump in. 40 million views. The next day, J.D. Vance. 15 million views. The next day, which was my favorite of all the podcasts, Fetterman. And it didn't perform that well. But that was my favorite, Fetterman.
Yeah, but there's a reason that Trump does 40, Vance does 15, and Fetterman does 5. And it also shows that the draw isn't Joe.
So it's Fetterman.
Look, I'm not insulting him.
And then
I'm
after
saying
Fetterman,
he's got a great platform.
Musk comes in. But I think the
numbers went back up?
Hear me out, though. When in baseball, we watched Moneyball the other day for the 50th time. You know why I freaking love that movie?
Jonah Hill.
I love. By the way, he's the only speaker, Billy Beane, that I've paid 3 times to come and speak at our events. And he's the only guy that told me, "I'll come, Pat. Just please don't turn on the camera." He doesn't like the camera.
Wow.
And we never record. But he's ridiculous when you bring him to the event. I freaking love Billy Beane.
Wow,
right?
I've never met him.
And here's why I love Billy Beane. And I want to get to my point. Billy Beane comes in and goes to Jonah, and he's in that room with Cleveland Indians. And he's like, "Hey, I'll give you Rincon or whatever the guy's name is." "No." "Yeah, and $200,000. What do you think?" And then the guy he looks at Jonah. Jonah's like, he said, "No, we're not going to do it." And he's like, Brad Pritt's looking at the guy and said, what just happened right now? "Okay, forget it. Just no money. Just give me the players." Then he's like, "Who the hell is that guy?" Then he goes to that guy. He goes to his desk. He says, "Hey, what just happened in there? Who are you? What's your background? Who's your father? Who's your uncle? Who played in the major leagues?" Says, "Nothing." "What'd you do?" "Do you like the game?" "No, I'm not a baseball guy." What the F just happened? That day, Chris, is when baseball realized the most important stat in baseball isn't home run, not doubles, not RBIs, not stolen bases, not ERA. The most important data in baseball is on-base percentage. Do you know what's happened the last 4 years? The most important stat in politics is common sense, baby. And Joe's got a lot of it. I think that's what it is.
I'm not disputing that. Yeah. I'm just saying, to Charlie's point about what the future of the process is, I think you're going to see a lot more, what do they call us now? Talent. All right, you're going to see a lot more personalities. You're going to see a lot more people with ideas enter that space from other spaces, like Patrick, by the way, who will come in with an acumen, and they'll be conducting interviews that will be longer. I don't know about 3 hours, but I mean, they'll be longer. I struggle to get through watching, let alone participating. But I agree with you that it's an absolutely legitimate space. I also believe that Joe Rogan, to his credit, is a one-off. I don't know if a year from now or 2 years from now he'll be as dominant. That's not fair, really, to say it, because as this space expands, you can't expect somebody.
He's kept his throne for a couple of years.
I know, but I think now you're seeing a period. Look, Tucker has challenged him a couple of different times in terms of the metrics. Why? A different level of talent coming into that space has a different level of draw. So I agree with you. I think that the space is very vital. That's why I've been in it. When I came back, when I got shit canned by CNN, my first move was not to go back on TV. I frankly thought I wouldn't go back on TV. If I didn't believe in what the News Nation guys were doing, I wasn't going to go back, not for the best reasons, but personally, I guess my ego was so damaged by getting shit canned that I was like, well, what can I do that would restore, what job could I take where I'd feel like I'm back? Mm-hmm. I've done all these jobs already. So I went into the podcast because I believe that it was a way more organic space, and I sensed that people were highly anti-establishment, and that space gives you that.
Tom, John, and I'm going to go to a couple of these things that we start 45 minutes to go through. When I think about media, I don't sit there and say, Fox News, CNN, the establishment mainstream media. Not necessarily. The only reason why we say that is because they all get locked in. Pfizer, COVID, Russia. That's why it's called establishment. But if I'm seeing a guy gets up there and is like, what the hell are you talking about? No, I disagree. Within the same platform, and you're allowing for the conversation. I don't care if it's cable network or podcast. We just want that discussion.
Yeah, I totally get it.
So and this is why I'm complimentary of News Nation. I didn't, by the way, nothing against them. I didn't know about News Nation until you told me about News Nation. And we start talking about that. And now, you want to know what my number one is right now? I go to News Nation first before I go to these other guys.
Well, you better. We're friends.
It's not even the friendship part. It's because I think.
better be part of it.
You bring me in, but now I'm seeing some of the stuff that's happening that I can at least see the conversation. So here's the point with Rogan. Rogan gets the request, and he'll explain here what is. Rob, is this the one that he's explaining Kamala's request? So here's Rogan describing what Kamala's camp is asking if they choose to do the podcast. Go for it.
This is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to Kamala Harris. I'm like, I bet there's a person in there. I bet I can get to that person.
Yeah.
I wanted to find that person. I don't want to hear all the speeches. I don't want to hear, I was raised middle class. I don't want to hear any of that shit.
She's a roller skater. You know that?
No, I would love to find that out.
Yeah.
I would love to talk to her about all kinds of shit. I literally said, because there was a few restrictions of things they didn't want to talk about. But I said, I don't give a fuck. I go, get her in here. Like, whatever you want to talk about. And they want to know if I edit. I'm like, there's not going to be any editing. There's no editing.
Yeah.
We're not going to edit. But
Yeah, that's the same thing they asked us. Is there an edit? You know,
I just wanted to talk. I feel like you give someone a couple of hours and you start talking about anything. I'm going to see the pattern of the way you think.
Right.
I'm going to see the way you process ideas.
That's right.
I'm going to see whether or not you're calculated or whether you're just free.
Exactly.
Or are you comfortable with you, or are you projecting things? Like, she's got 80 different accents. How do you decide which one to pull out?
Yeah.
Like, she's got she busts out different accents.
You can
depending
pause
on who
that
she's
right there,
talking
Rob.
to.
Thanksgiving's around the corner. Christmas is around the corner. There was a moment that Kamala was uncomfortable saying Merry Christmas. She wanted to say Happy Holidays. Rob, can you play this clip? Go ahead and play this clip for the audience. Go ahead.
And when we all sing happy tunes and sing Merry Christmas and wish each other Merry Christmas, these children are not going to have a Merry Christmas. How dare we speak Merry Christmas? How dare we?
Okay, you can pause it right there. So guess what? I want to say Merry Christmas this Christmas. Very simple. And if you are confident enough to say it as well, we had a very deep discussion, because not everybody that works here is Christian. We said, listen, guys, we want to create merch that's very bold, that says Merry Christmas with maybe some scripture in it. Let's see if we have an audience for it. Pat, I don't know if it's a good idea and all this other stuff. That's what I stand for. You want it, great. You don't want it, I totally get it. But if you're watching this and you want to get a Merry Christmas hat, you go to Starbucks and you got the sun. I just want to see the reaction. You smile. You go to work, you got a Merry Christmas hat, you got to take that hat off, right? Hey, you want another hat here. You want some of the ugly sweaters that we have here. Rob, can you show some of the stuff that we got here? You want to get some of the stuff for your kids, shirt, future looks bright, Merry Christmas gear is officially here. And if you're bold enough to do it and order it, and again, you place any orders of this, we're going to put some future looks bright ornaments in the order for you, limited edition custom that we have for the first 100 that place the order. If you're bold enough and you're comfortable going out there telling people Merry Christmas, and you're a valuetainer that believes the future looks bright, go place an order, and let's make some people uncomfortable or comfortable this Christmas with saying Merry Christmas. Having said that, let's get right into it. Charlie, and by the way, you can go to VT Merch to place the order. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.